Hello, everyone. My name is Laura Faria. I am a security sales engineer at Cisco, and this is a mini series on how to set up secure network analytics. So this is part 3. We've actually already have set up 4 individual VMs for the central management, the data store, the flow collector, and the flow sensor. Then in part 2, we use the application setup wizard in order to get these 4 individual VMs in communication with one another. And this is part 3, where we are going to initialize the data store and make sure that communication and data is being sent into our database, which we call our data store. Okay, let's go ahead and get started. I am looking at the Central Management Appliance Manager, and here we can see my 4 appliances. And 2 of these appliances state that the data store has not been initialized, and so we are going to initialize the data store in this demo. All right, we're going to actually go into the settings of the central management, and we're going to enable SSH. So we're going to hit the 3 dots, and then we're going to hit edit appliance configuration. Okay. Here we can scroll down, and there should be a box called SSH, and then there is a radio button, enable SSH. And as soon as I hit that button, this apply settings button becomes available, and I'm going to go ahead and apply these settings. It sends me a pop-up screen that shows me which changes are about to take place, and I'm going to go ahead and hit apply changes. Okay, fairly simple. Now it does take a minute for the changes to take effect, so we want to be cautious of that, and we want to make sure that this config changes pendant goes away before we move on to the next step. So let's give that a minute and maybe refresh the page. Okay, it looks like it now lists as appliance status connected, which means that we can move on with the next step. Next, I'm going to actually go into my PuTTY manager and SSH into my Secure Network Analytics Management Console. Now, it does give me a warning. This simply states that the SSH key is different than the program and members. And so I'm going to go ahead and hit OK. Yes, I'm OK with that. And now it's going to ask me for the password, which is the new password that we've configured recently. Now I'm inside of my root account. Nope. Let's try it again. OK. Let me just make sure that the SSH has been enabled before I try this again. Edit appliance configuration. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and hit enable root SSH access and hit apply settings. Apply. Okay, let's go. And like I said, this is going to take another few minutes in order for this to state that the configuration changes have taken place and the status is connected instead of pending. Okay, now that I've refreshed the page, it says the appliance status is connected, and I'm going to go ahead and try that SSH again. And so I'm going to go into my PuTTY. I'm going to connect to my management console via SSH. All right, looks like we're in this time, so that worked. And as we've done before, we'll do system config. And now we are in the wizard. And so it lets me know that I had 4 failed attempts before I tried to log in, which I'm aware. And we're going to go into the data store this time. So let's go hover down to data store and hit select. And we want to go into SSH. So that's correct. And it's creating an SSH key and distributing the public key to your manager's flow collectors and data nodes to ensure communication. So it says that this process could take about 30 minutes at the maximum. Please sit and wait. And it's imperative that nothing gets touched until the system reboots. So I'm going to go ahead and pause the video and pick it up as soon as I see that the configuration has taken place. Okay, we're back. And that was actually pretty quick. I had just enough time to make myself a tea, and the the SSH has been enabled on my managers, my flow collectors, and my data nodes. So I'm going to go ahead and hit OK. Next, we'll go into initialization of the data store and appliances. Okay. Select. So now we're going to go ahead and it's letting us know that we're going to begin the initialization process and set the passwords for the flow collector and the data store. So gives me the criteria for my password. Accept. And now it's asking me to submit my password. So confirm the password. Now it's asking me for the next password for the ready-only user. Confirm the password for the ready-only user, the read-only user. Okay, and we're initializing the data store. It said the process could take a couple of minutes. Do not exit the configuration before this process is complete. And you can kind of see it's goes down the checklist. So set up the passwords, set up the certs, configure the network settings. Now it's initializing the data store, and finally it has to finalize the data store configuration. So we're in step 4 or 5. So it's moving quite quickly along this process. And step 4 is probably the longer process. So that makes sense. Okay, and initialize the data store. The last step is complete. So it's finalized the data store configuration. It says it's okay to hit OK for exit. And then we can exit the configuration. So go into exit mode. Hit OK. This is the screen I expect. And now I'm going to go into exit again. Make sure I exit. Okay. I've officially exited the system configuration utility. I'm going to go back to my central management console. And I can see that the data store is no longer shown as initialized. It's now shown as configurations changes pending. So this is going to take a little minute for the configurations to show connected. Give that another minute. Okay, all of my 4 devices now state connected, which is great. And now we have officially completed the initialization process of the data store. This means that the flow collector appliance and the data store are both initialized together, and that they're in communication. And the data store is its own local database, right? Now, please, I hope you enjoyed this video, and in the next mini series of secure network analytics, how to get started, we are going to do a post installation configuration and verification. So, hope to see you in the next one.